Welcome in, everybody, to Amalgamation Nation's Turnover Tuesdays. Kudos to me for the first show and not fucking up the new name. Kudos to me, because I thought it was going to happen. Turnover Tuesdays, we'll go over all the weekly sporting news, including baseball, NBA, football, and everything else under the sports sun. Of course, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Just go at AMNationPod. Make sure you hit that follow button. Find us on Facebook.com/AMNationPod. On YouTube, go ahead and search Amalgamation Nation. Hit that sub button. Or if you're on our Twitter account, it's pinned to the very top, so you just get to it very easy. Once we get to 100 subs, we get the ability to have a custom URL, and it will be much, much easier. And also find us on your podcast platform of choice, on Spotify, Google, Apple, etc. If you're already following the Big J and BB Show, which you should have been, then it's already linked over for you. This is episode 97. Boys, for the show. And
yeah,
wow. There it is. And tonight I'm joined by, from North Carolina, Brendan B.K. Kennerly. How's it going, bud?
It's good. I missed a lot of sports this weekend. Was at a lovely wedding where my fiance was the maid of honor. But I will get into more of that story later on Derail time. So first Derail, official Derail segment. In Turnover Tuesday history.
Like, there it is. There's a derail. There we go.
Yeah, a planned derail.
Need somebody to make like a flasher thing, like derail or something.
Yeah, wild. Just a train coming in. It's like Thomas the Train coming in, and he just like falls off the tracks. Just careens into like a giant pit and just explodes.
And also joining us this evening, Petey Tahiti Argus. Pete, how's it going, bud?
Dude, I'm doing great. I mean, we got Tuesday Night Football, so
how weird is that?
This is so weird. So weird.
Just give me
is it? You guys are used to Tuesday night action, so like, how is it weird though?
No, it's weird when it's in October. Like we're November. Okay. I'm used to it. Like I'm wearing shorts right now. I'm not used to like watching Tuesday football in shorts. Like I need like use them at like sweatpants on.
Now, Pete, real quick, is it cold by you? Because we got a little bit of a cold front here.
Not yet. We are surviving like the nicer weather. I think it's gonna be like mid 60s tomorrow, and then it's gonna go down.
Yeah, this morning I got up and it was 35.
No, I think that's supposed to be
Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, Fahrenheit.
I had to stop. I was like, wait, what do we use here in America?
Oh my god.
I forgot. I'm so used to it. There's two things. But then I got out of work and at like 6 and it was like 70. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Fuck my immune system and fuck my sinuses. No big deal. Of course, guys, also while you're finding all the podcast stuff and everything, go to undeadredbull.tv, click on the merch tab for your Big J and B. Well, no, it's not that anymore, but it is still on there. It's still on there. It's still on
Throwback.
You could buy yourself a Big J and B t-shirt if you want, but before it's gone. It's fucking vintage.
Well, are you at least gonna discount the swag for the people out there that are buying like old stuff? It's like
question. I should tell
like you know how Fanatics does that with the jerseys for like a player, like, oh, I don't want to spoil that one piece of news later, but it fits in so well. If you bought a jersey for a player that may or may not be on a team that was not on a team today anymore, they offer that deal. So, and they give it to you for cheaper.
True. I would tell David to do that. I'm like, slash price. Just help him out.
Yeah. Slash.
Let everyone get a cool Big BB Show zip up. Let's do it. But also on there is Undead Red Bull merch, of course. That's still current, as well as a Stay Breezy / Undead Red Bull mask, like gator mask thing. It's pretty dope. I'm waiting for mine to get here. Also, make sure you're on twitch.tv / Undead Red Bull. This Thursday, we will be there, 9 p.m. Central Time. Actually, you know what? I'm going to ask everybody if they want to start that earlier as well, because Dan won't be able to make it. So maybe we could do that one earlier too. That'd be great. It'd be fantastic. We'll do our gaming weekly show there, and then it'll be available on the YouTube and the podcast platforms the next day, just like this show is. I would tell you that it's every Thursday, but it's not going to be every Thursday. Just like this isn't going to be every Tuesday moving forward. We will be getting a schedule change as soon as I know my new shift, and we'll go from there. While you're there, make sure you follow and sub to David on there. Twitch.tv/UndeadRebel. Twitch.tv/slap_nugget. 2 P's and 2 G's. Give him a follow as well. Let's give him the 50 followers so then he can become an affiliate. That'd be awesome. On Twitter, follow Josh Barlog. It's at Josh Barlog on Twitter. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, he does Natty Nights. I join him there. It's 8 p.m. Central Time. It's a live stream on his Twitter. If you miss it, you can find it on podcast platforms. Just search Natty Nights. If you're looking to sponsor a show, $50 a month is all you need, and you can sponsor Natty Nights. So reach out to Josh on there, and he'll hook you up with that. And if you're looking to upgrade your gaming chair experience, go to TriumphChairs.com and use the code BigJBabyShow, all one word, for 10% off your order. Because it's still that. It's still that until I just figure out how to change that. But whatever. We'll keep it for the vintage. All right. Let's get into some sporting news. Let's start with the NHL. BK, you got some cap news there, dude?
Yes. Braden Holtby has not re-signed with the Capitals, which isn't completely surprising. Very up and down with his career. Was great on the Stanley Cup run there, and had the amazing save against the Vegas Knights there, kind of diving back across. It was great. I remember watching that live, and it was incredible. But I'm not entirely surprised with Ilya Samsonov playing a lot last year. Let's see, he started 22 games, went 16-6. So his goals against percentage is 2.55. So not bad for a young guy. He's going to take over as the main netminder. But then we also signed Henrik Lundqvist there to a 1-year deal. So it's nothing long-term, as you can tell. Like we clearly believe in Ilya. So it's going to kind of be his show next year. Excited for that, but definitely thankful for what Holtby did. He was up and down, reached his potential sometimes and didn't others. But hey, he helped us get to the Stanley Cup and we'll win it finally. So hats off.
Can't ask for much.
Hats off. No, because I had been let down plenty of times before. So just getting there once was like, hey, all right.
Speaking of helping someone win a Stanley Cup, and now it's gone, the Blackhawks do not re-sign Corey Crawford. Corey Crawford goes to the New Jersey Devils, which is so weird because I thought he wanted to start all the time, and he's not. He's definitely going to split some times out there in New Jersey. What was it, 3.5? Is that it? Or 305? I might be dyslexic.
I think it was 3.5, yeah.
Okay. $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Then the Hawks start making more moves. We dealt Saad and a couple of others. I couldn't tell you the trade off the top of my head. The first immediate thing I did immediately was I texted Josh and I was like, instant reaction, please, because I don't know how bad this is. But it sounds bad. Like a lot of people are pissed. And I go on his Twitter, like, this is fucking terrible. And I'm like, there it is. All right, that's what I was
There it is.
Pete, where is this Hawks team going? Because I feel like there is not a clear direction.
No, and Ryan, you're completely right. What the hell are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? Okay, like, I get it. Okay, for the Crawford thing, no, I don't get it. Because the Hawks don't have like a young netminder that was like, up and coming, someone they're going to bring in. Who's their answer?
Malcolm Subban, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then for the Saad thing, I guess, Saad was making a lot of money. I guess the cap thing, I don't know if the Hawks are just like worried like with what the cap's going to do for next year. Like what's going to happen from that? I don't know. But like, I don't see the point in like getting rid of him. And then the guys they got, yeah, you're exactly right. Let's trust Josh's opinion. If he thinks it's terrible, because he's a lot more connected than we are, honestly, when it comes to Blackhawks stuff. So if he's not liking it, I'm not liking it.
Right.
So, like, that's where I am on that. So, I get it. Let's upgrade a lot of our defensemen. I'm all for that. I feel like the Blackhawks can score. They needed help on defense. I get that, but, like, oh, my God. Like, what are we doing here? Just what are we doing?
See, like, you got to either shit or get off the pot. Like,
yes.
They don't know if we're going full rebuild or we're going to keep trying to contend at that point, right? Because full rebuild means Taves is probably gone. Kane's probably the only one left standing. Colleton, you would assume, would be gone. Like, it would just be a lot of moves. And I don't know. It's like they're Bowman's trying to like tread water, and it's like I don't think this is gonna work for them. That's my biggest thing is I just don't think it's gonna work out for the Hawks. It's not good. It's like we're just delaying the inevitable. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, especially with the run they had at the end of the year, like you think you maybe feed off that momentum. You know, you beat a top 5 team in the West in Edmonton. You know, you really show that, like, you know, this Leafs core, you know, isn't that bad, and you know, maybe we should grow from here. And instead, it's like, okay, you know what, this just never happened. That's what just makes it seem like from Stan right now. So I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. I don't know what the hell is going to happen with them for next year, but who knows?
It's not good. Not good, man.
No.
BK, why don't you take us to the pitch?
So, not as many updates this week. It was the international break, which we're going to learn some more this week on Turnover Tuesday. So you guys understand what the international break means?
I just assume that everybody takes a break.
like spring break.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
All the clubs stop playing, like all the domestic leagues stop playing, and the players go play for their national teams abroad. So it's like, because the FIFA World Cup qualifying literally starts they start right after they finish. Like I think it's like a month or two later they start qualifying for the next World Cup, like after it ends, because it just takes that long. Because I mean, you got to think about like Europe and Africa. There's just a lot of countries within those continents and everything. So it not as much happening this week. It's international break stuff and just not as interesting, at least from my perspective for the most part. We'll have more to talk next week. I gotta sink my teeth into this proposal more. This is like a little spoil thing. There's a proposal that came out by the Big Six to where they would take a larger cut of the pie than the rest of the table for the Premier League, and they wouldn't be able to get relegated, which I told y'all about last week. They wouldn't be able to get knocked down, which is like a big deal and stuff. I gotta read more into it. I was behind on my sports this weekend, so I've been still trying to catch up. So I'm going to talk more about that next week. And I did see that piece of news about Cristiano Ronaldo, getting the COVID, which is bad for Portugal. So his international team, that's probably where he got it. And that has happened to a few players, like Kieran Tierney, who's a player for Arsenal. He tested positive, even though he was doing everything right, wearing a mask and all that stuff. So he might have to miss some time for Arsenal. So that is a complaint by some of the club teams, like, hey, why are we even letting these guys go abroad? Because like when they go abroad, and they play for the national team, they make nothing compared to what they make during their club career. I mean, nothing compared to especially like Ronaldo. He makes insane money, and Juventus will be very, very upset. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I saw that earlier that he had gotten the COVID, and I was like, well, that's not good. I mean, now when you break it down, and that the fact that they go and they play for their countries, it is kind of like, especially during this time in particular, with everything going on around the world, probably not the best decision right now.
Yeah, but it's like I don't necessarily blame the players, because I always feel that like if you have an opportunity to play for your country and kind of like put on the colors, like you kind of just do it, for like the pride and everything like that. So I put more onus on FIFA, organizing all this stuff, the governing body, and kind of pushing all this stuff through, because unfortunately it comes down to money and and TV contracts and all that good stuff, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I did not give us a good segue into NBA there. Do you know what does not suck? There we go. Boom. Do you know what does not suck? LeBron and the Lakers winning the NBA title against I think everyone respected the Heat after that series. What are your thoughts there, Ryan?
Jimmy G buckets, and the G stands for gets. What a performance in game number 5. Gave it all, man. Left everything on the line. He only didn't play for 48 seconds. You talk about just dragging the team they're beat up, they're hurt, and they kept fighting, man. And I really wanted them to go down swinging a little bit more in that game 6. It didn't happen. The Lakers really put the stomp on them, stepped right on their necks there, man. That was wild. Just tough to see. For someone that, I was rooting for the Heat once it kept going. I'm like, well, let's do it, dude. I want Jimmy to win. As a diehard Bulls fan, of course. And but as somebody that loves LeBron, I was good with it. I thought at the beginning, this feels like a lifetime ago. At the beginning of the year when Kobe passed, that was my thing, right? I was like, they're gonna go win. They're gonna win for Kobe. They're gonna win for Gigi, and it's gonna be great. And it is, I can't even be mad. And that's kind of where I am now. My biggest complaint is, like, LeBron's still a bitch when it comes to, give me my respect, bro. Shut the fuck up. Just sit back. You're number 2 and shut the fuck up. You're never going to be number 1. Deal with it. You should be happy enough that you're even on the Mount Rushmore. Fuck off. Like, that shit pisses me off so bad with LeBron. As someone that has been a diehard LeBron fan for so long, it's just like, dude, whatever, bro. Everyone respects you. You know what they don't like? When you walk off the court with 10 seconds left, you bitch. That's what they don't like. Or when you cramp up. Or, stupid shit. That's what they don't like. And when you're crying and complaining, they don't... Listen, LeBron is still one of the greatest basketball players of all time. You got to be super... this whole Michael, LeBron, and then people throw Kobe and Magic, it gets all convoluted and shit. You should just be appreciative that you get to watch great basketball players like we do. I mean, we got to witness... Pete and I are a little bit younger, and I don't think our memories, might be as recollect of Michael Jordan. I was 6 when the dynasty ended, so it's like you still got that. And then you got Kobe, and then you got LeBron, and we've seen some great things from Steph. And this is like, just be appreciative of these type of things. That's all. But hats off to the Lakers. Played a great series. They finished it off. What's next? I don't know, but congrats to them. And LeBron, I guess there's your respect, bitch. So.
Yeah, honestly, with that, no. That was a good point, though. Like, for the whole respect thing, and that's one of the things I forgot to put in the notes here. I'm glad you brought that up. Honestly, it makes no sense. Like, the respect thing made 0 sense. When is anyone, like, not respected, basically, LeBron? Like, right now. Everyone arguably says LeBron is the best basketball player on earth right now. I don't know anyone in their right mind that can say anything else or anything differently. And, like, yeah, the whole comparison compared to Michael and whatever, like, give her respect. Dude, you still have 2 short championships than Michael does. Like, and even if you do reach 6, like, people are still going to be like that. They're entitled to their own opinion. It's just, that didn't make any sense to me. But, hey, hats off to them. They played great. They beat a depleted Heat team. And as you mentioned, Ryan, that was a great Game 5. That was just back and forth between Jimmy and LeBron. That was just, that was awesome basketball there at the end between the two of them. And, yeah, the Heat just ran out of energy there at the end. But, LeBron got his 4th ring, and, that's what he came to LA for. So, yeah. He got it.
100%. BK, were you happy with the Lakers finishing off? Or?
I guess they, kind of happy for AD getting his 1st ring after being in, for the New Orleans Pelicans there and them not really doing enough to put the pieces around him. So, happy for him. Who doesn't love Caruso? It's just like a cool story. And I saw the tweet by Texas A&M today where it's like how it was going, how's it going now, kind of like all that stuff you've been seeing on Twitter, and the picture of him in college, and then now. I thought that was cool. Bummed for the Heat, especially Jimmy Butler. But I saw the I think it was a tweet or Instagram of him today, and he was in the gym today working out, and I immediately thought of MJ, because after that loss to the Pistons, the next day he's like, nah, working out, I'm bulking up. And so I really did appreciate that, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens this offseason, because like the Heat were beat up. Dragic was done, and he was one of their he was like their 2nd leading scorer, I think, behind Jimmy.
Yeah.
And and Bam was kind of in and out. Bam missed 2 games there, and then Duncan Robinson just got completely cold, which he hadn't been doing all year. It was still a good series, I think, for the most part. It went to Game 6. It wasn't like a sweep or even Game 5. So it was still a good series. So happy for the Lakers, I guess, and then LeBron. The whole respect thing, I don't really get either. I think you get a lot of the MJ and Kobe talk, especially in NBA, because it's so superstar driven compared to the other sports, compared to NFL, NHL, MLB, everything. Because, I mean, one guy can literally take over and win a game. It's the good and bad thing about basketball, that, one guy can literally win a game. So it's never going to go away, and I do kind of feel for him on that, but it kind of also, it does come with the territory of being the greatest player in the game. I mean, you see Tom Brady deal with that every day. So I feel for him, but at the same time, could he handle it better? Yeah, but he's been doing it since he was 16, 17, so I don't know. I'm not even a huge LeBron fan, so I guess I give him like a little bit of a pass. I get it. He's kind of he's puffing out his chest a little bit. Yeah, they won. Good for him.
What I always remember is not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4,
Facts.
and then you lost to the Mavericks. Great job. Great.
And honestly, should have lost to the Spurs if Ray Allen wasn't a G.
Yeah, 100%.
One of the most unheralded shooters. Like, imagine if Ray Allen played in like today's like NBA, essentially, because he came in, he played in kind of like the tail end there. Because man, like he was Steph before Steph. Yeah. Like, to be honest, like I remember you would see defenders, like, honestly, they would put their hands, like, they wouldn't try to block because they couldn't get there in time, so they would just try to put their hands in front of his eyes, like, oh, don't see the basket, and he would just drill it anyways. Or like they would do like little elbow taps, like you going up and just go right there, try to throw him off.
Oh yeah,
so good, good.
I just think that LeBron just, like, yes, you're great. LeBron is one of the greatest of all time. It is what it is. But, like, I see so many people talking about, like, almost trying to disregard Michael. And I'm like, didn't you watch The Last Dance? Didn't it just click? Because it should have at that point. My God. Jesus. I also loved I saw the Jimmy Butler post, too, and someone's like, damn, this man ain't got no family or no bitches or nothing. I'm like, bro,
so? Who cares?
He's working.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his priorities straight. Like, isn't that kind of what you almost, like, want to a certain degree from, like, your athletes, like, for your team, is just to, like, kind of completely, like, cut out the outside world, cut the bullshit, and just kind of
be zoned in,
rise and grind. And yeah, zoned in. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect way to describe that.
Will this Heat's team what will it look like next year? And can they beat a healthy, retooled Warriors team out there? We don't know what the Clippers are going to look like and the rest of the West, but we do know that the Warriors at least should be somewhat retooled. What will this Lakers team look like? And BK, I'll start with you.
Well, as I was hinting at in the pre-show, I don't know, because AD did not definitively say if he was coming back. And so the Lakers are a completely different team without Anthony Davis. 100%. And LeBron gets like 1 year older, and yeah, he's still playing at an incredibly high level. But it's just natural. There will be a drop off again next year. I don't think I'm being unkind by saying that. But yeah, if AD doesn't come back, Lakers are screwed. And then that opens the door to the Clippers. But then, all right, so if you're AD, if you opt out of the Lakers, like, where do you go? Who's got the cap space? I don't. I haven't looked it up. I don't know. And because
can I say Sky City?
Let's go.
Oh, and he's from there. Yeah. So I don't know. He does a lot of things. And the Nets are going to be good. So the Nets went didn't they go? They didn't make it to the playoffs. No, they did. Right there in the bubble, they were playing well, and they did that without their two best players, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So
yeah,
tough.
Watch out for the Nets.
Watch out, Pete. What about the Lakers and the Warriors?
Oh man, well, BK, you're just getting me excited. And I am all on the hype train now. Anthony Davis going to the Bulls. Anthony Davis going home. He's going to the Bulls. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to speak it into existence. He just had to learn how to win a title. He already learned how to win a title. AK, Billy Donovan, let's go. Bring him home. But no, seriously, he's going to probably sign a super long extension. More likely than not with the Lakers. But no, I mean, in terms of this Lakers team, though, I mean, were like any of us surprised that they went this far? I mean, like honestly, I mean, I know when we did our NBA predictions, it was like Lakers, Bucks, and whatever. I just felt like the Lakers just coasted. I feel like the Lakers basically just coasted all the way to a title. That's why I would be so interested to see what they would do against like the Warriors or the Nets, because I don't know how they would do. Because if you're the Warriors, you have all those shooters. I mean, obviously Anthony Davis is going to be a huge issue for the Warriors. But I mean, that's a lot that they have to cover. So I think they might have trouble with the Warriors. And yeah, BK brought up a good point. The Nets, I mean, made to the playoffs, and they didn't even have their two best players. KD and Kyrie are going to be an issue next year. So, I mean, I think the Lakers, obviously, you give them props. They won, especially in a bubble environment. I mean, that was probably super hard for them to try to do. But I don't think they really had, like, a huge challenge, really, that came across them. So I'm not going to say that the Warriors, when healthy, can beat them. But I think it at least goes to 7 if they play the Warriors. If they would play a healthy Warriors team.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for the Lakers is depth. I don't think they have a ton of it.
Yes.
And that's a big thing, right? J.R. Smith, another year older. Rajon Rondo, another year older. What do we get out of Caruso moving forward? I don't know. The Lakers are one of those, like, if you're going to put all this cap into Anthony Davis, you're going to sacrifice a ton of wiggle room to really better yourself depth-wise, and that's going to be tough because, I mean, a team like the Warriors that could just score at will, right, from range, that's going to be really difficult, I think, for them to beat. I mean, you saw also teams that can get really physical with them. Look at what the Heat were able to do during this series part of the time, right, when they would get real physical with LeBron or they would physical with Anthony Davis. Like, it was tough. It's really tough for the Lakers to make moves. So that will be interesting to see. Obviously, yes, the Nets being healthy and ready to roll with Kyrie and KD. What does that look like? Things like that. You look at the West, the Clippers, you hope to rebound. What is that going to do to them? Houston, what is Houston going to do? I mean, it's not like these teams are going away. The East, right? What do the Bucks do with Giannis and trying to build around Giannis? And Miami, you have to assume they're going to make a push at somebody. Somebody they're going to try to get there, whether it's Oladipo maybe or somebody to really pair well with what they've built so far. Because when you see Jimmy and they say, no, we're not done. We're going to be back. And then you see him in the gym, and it's like, I just hope that the Heat grab this and they go and get somebody, because that's a team that can give – you get another guy there, that's going to be a team that gives a lot of teams trouble. A lot moving forward.
Yeah, I think that they need another guy who's just going to kind of slash and cut, because they have the shooters in Hero and Robinson. You either need a big that can score a little bit more readily than Adebayo, but I think Bam's going to continue to get better, and so I think that's off. But I think you really need a slasher just so Jimmy can kind of not have to do that as much. And just because, man, I love Jimmy's defense, I really do, and so I don't want him to completely exert himself on the offensive side of the floor, just because, man, I love seeing a superstar take charges and everything. It's just great. So if they can get a slasher, I think we're gonna be tough, because the 76ers played like dog doo-doo. So like, what do?
Yeah.
Because clearly they're a piece away, and they fired their head coach. So do they say, did the process fail, and do they try to start over again, or do they, all right, we have to go grab another piece? So there's a lot of ifs, because I'll tell you one thing. Bradley Beal said he committed to Wizards long term. I don't know. If the Wizards get a really good offer, I can see Bradley Beal going somewhere else.
Ooh, yeah.
True. No, in on that, like, and that kind of ties in almost to my point, like, with Golden State. All right, so the other thing I totally forgot with Golden State, they have the second pick, like, in the draft. So, like, they can just, in a team like the Wizards, would be very intrigued for that second pick. And if you're the Wizards, like, can you imagine Bradley Beal as a Warrior? Like, you put another shooter out there. Oh my God!
And Bradley Beal, he's taller than like Steph too, because Bradley's 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", and you can run Steph, Clay, Bradley, Draymond, and then I think you run Looney at the center, and woo!
Yeah,
I mean, woo!
That's the deal they got to make.
Would they do that because they have Wiggins though, or if you do the Bradley Beal trade, do you hold on Wiggins for like depth, or I think you almost have to try to trade Wiggins away and try to get another big.
Yeah, I feel like if you get Beal, I think you got to do that.
And then I think honestly, and if I'm the Warriors, I'm like knocking down the door of the 76ers to try to get Joel Embiid. That's what I would do personally. I'm a big Embiid fan. Like when he has the motivation, I think he's one of the best players. But the motivation, it has to be there. And I think that he would have it with the Warriors because I think Draymond Green would probably just like shove his finger up his butt and be like, "Come on, bro, get to work."
Holy shit.
So,
hi, buddy.
so what do you think about that? Like the Warriors do a double draft night trade back with the Wizards, get Beal, and then do another trade for the 76ers. Do you think that could happen? Do you think the Sixers would do that? I know the Wizards would.
I mean, I don't know if the Sixers do it. I mean, they just got Doc. You got to think Doc's not in for a rebuild.
No.
You got to think that. But then, like, if you're able to get those assets, and if Doc doesn't like the way the team's constructed, that could happen. I mean, that would be insane. That would be insane if the Warriors did that.
Or Al Horford. Al Horford would fit in well with the Warriors too.
He would. Yeah, he would.
He would. Yep.
I am so interested. I mean, overall, it's hats off to the way the NBA did everything. They had 0 positive cases. That's so great to see out of them from the bubble.
Yeah.
People talk about the ratings and the reasons why they were down. Listen, you're competing against the NFL. That always sucks. The NHL,
MLB,
baseball was on. Like everything was on at the same time. It was really difficult. I mean, Sunday, let alone, right? It was Sunday Night Football. It was Game 1 of the ALCS and Game 6 of the NBA Finals. My God, what a time! And
you gotta think like less people are going to sports bars as well. Like sports bars they're not operating off full capacity.
Yeah.
So like there's even less people there going to like watch games, and like so there's more people at like home. Like, and not everyone has like a 2 TV setup like P2 does. not living that cushy Cleveland life. So there's. And I think we said that a month or so ago. It's just like, look, I think it's a little bit of a red herring to really say ratings are down when they're competing against more live action sports that they've ever had to. Like, the French Open was just on, by the way. Like the PJ and shout out to Rafa Nadal real quick. He owns the clay at the French. He now tied Roger Federer with 20 Opens. 20.
It's insane.
20.
Jesus.
I love Rafa.
My God.
Yeah, let me tell you, when I hear someone talk about NBA ratings and like their reasons why, I'm like, ooh, that sounds real Trumpy, and I don't like that very much. So I kick those opinions to the side, and I don't hold them with too much. I don't do it. Speaking of that, since we are getting so close to episode 100, which at the end of this show, because I didn't even tell them, we will get into what my plans are for episode 100. But then after episode 100, which should be next week, we will do our A Nation Election 2020 podcast. It's going to be great.
Oh,
can't wait, because the debate got canceled this week, so it's like, fucking hey. I really wanted to see that one more time. What I do want to see, though, is baseball playoffs. ALCS and NLCS is going on right now. The Rays are up, 2-0 in the series? 2-up now? Yeah?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
They play,
I think they're losing right now, though, aren't they?
Yeah. 1-0 currently.
Yep. Yeah, in the bottom of the third. And we are in the top of the ninth as the Braves lead the Dodgers 7-3. Let's fucking go, baby. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. So before the season restarted, I took the Braves and Raves to win the World Series. That was my my bet. And it was also my pick in the show. And I'm so close. I'm so fucking close.
You are.
So I'm really excited about that. Also, I just don't want to have to see. I won't have to see it in New York, the Yankees. That's fantastic. And I hope I don't have to see the Dodgers, which is also fan-fucking-tastic. Because you can't buy baseball championships apparently anymore. I don't know what to tell you. I guess you can't.
Nope.
Sucks to suck.
That's good.
Now, what I want to get in, two things. Obviously, right, we'll start here. Pete, are you surprised? I don't. I guess with both the way both series are going right now.
I'm not surprised in the AL series. I mean, the Rays pitching staff is nasty, so I am not surprised by that whatsoever. Also, I felt like whoever won that Rays-Yankees series, I think was going to have that edge on Houston anyway. I mean, I know Houston was hot at the end of the year, but also you got to think this team was under 500 through 60 games. So, I mean, they've had their ups and downs. They were hot at the beginning. So I'm not really surprised by that. I am surprised by the Dodgers and Braves series. It's fantastic that the Braves are up 1-0, possibly going to be up 2-0. I guess it shouldn't be surprising because it is the Dodgers, and I feel like they, choke year after year. So I am, I guess, a little bit surprised by that. But yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, you talk about winning or buying a championship. Yeah, if the Dodgers do not make the World Series this year, huge disappointment. Huge disappointment, and there will be ramifications from that.
100%. BK?
I'm not upset that the Braves are beating the Dodgers, and it looks like they're going to take it to them. Nor with the Rays taking it to the Astros. I was just thinking this: are the Dodgers essentially the Buffalo Bills of the '90s?
Feels like it, right?
It does.
It honestly does. That team is so talented. So talented.
Boy. It's just kind of year over year, the constant disappointment. It's man, and after getting Mookie Betts, that was such a huge trade, and then locking him down immediately to the long-term contract, just like, I guess I kind of feel bad for Dodgers fans, but I don't, because guess what? They just got a championship with the Lakers, so you know what? No. I strike those feelings from me. I strike those. I do not feel bad for Dodgers fans. They just got a championship with the Lakers.
Yeah, same with the Yankees. The Yankees fans just got a championship from the Lakers, too, so who cares? Not a big deal. It's fine.
Yeah, no big deal.
No big deal. Listen, dude, Acuna jersey is in the cart, ready to be bought. Because I fucking love me some Acuna Jr., bro. It's fucking stud. I'm so hyped because, at one point I was like, oh, man, that Braves bet might not pay out because, they're kind of struggling. And then they turned it on. And that is what postseason baseball is all about. Your rotation and your lineup being hot at the right time. And they've got that great combination. And honestly, the Rays do, too. That's a big – I thought the Astros did, but, man, the Rays, like I said, that pitching staff, that 1-2-3 is nasty. And – that's why I hope it is Rays and Braves. Not because no matter what I'm a winner, but also because it's just fun. It's going to be fun to see two teams that you want to see one of them win. I mean, the Braves haven't won in God knows how long. It feels like the Rays obviously. So it's like this is different. Also, fuck cheaters and fuck the Dodgers. That's where I'm at with it. I don't tell you, but big news for me this week. Finally. I am a fan of a baseball team that looks like they know what the fuck they're doing. The White Sox got rid of Rick Renteria. Sorry. Great guy. You're a great dude, Rick. But it was time to go. And finally, Don Cooper is fucking gone, baby. Woo! The hype was real for White Sox fans, including myself. I was like, oh my God, they're really doing this. We're really embracing that we're ready to win. This is great. The Cooper thing was 10 years too late. Should have been done forever ago, and all the fucking arms he killed and everything else. Piece of shit. Rick Renteria, though, did exactly what he did for the Cubs. Helped a young lineup, a young team kind of get themselves going. And now he's not the guy to get you to that, to win you a championship. He's not, unfortunately. I don't believe he is. And now the Sox get to go and get themselves a manager that can, right? Is it going to be A.J. Hinch? Is it going to be Alex Cora? They're talking to Tony La Russa for whatever fucking reason.
Joe Girardi, maybe?
I wish. That's who I wanted from the jump was Joe Girardi. And isn't Joe Girardi the Reds?
No, he's Philly.
Philly, there it is.
Philly.
That would have been great. There's a lot. I think Bochy, there's talks of him now. I think AJ Hinch is the leading guy. That's who I think it might be. But just huge as the White Sox. But what it leads me into is we got a Twitter question asked to us because they listened to the episode last week and they wanted to know. So Garrett from Iowa tweeted us and said, last week we were super high on David Ross, but really low on Rick Renteria. So hypothetically speaking, what happens if the Sox have Ross and then vice versa, the Cubs have Renteria again? Obviously more important Ross on the Sox since Ricky was already on the Cubs, and he just thought it'd be really fun for us to talk about. David Ross on the Sox, I don't know if that dynamic works because I think the reason it's working so well right now from what we're seeing obviously is because David Ross played with these guys. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
No, Ryan. I think you're 100% right. As a Cub fan, I think Ross fits what the team needed. I mean, in that locker room. So I think if you bring in a guy who hasn't been in that locker room to basically, kick, Rizzo in the ass or, like Chris Bryant or any one of their top guys to be like, all right, you got to do this. And it's some random guy coming in that doesn't know the organization. I don't know how it would have worked. Ross was the perfect situation for it. I think it's a very interesting question because, I mean, I don't know if Ross would have done better than Renteria. I mean, he might have because some of the, decisions he made, and Ryan, you could probably allude to more of them, decisions he made that were pretty questionable. But if Renteria was with the Cubs, I tell you this, that team does not win the division. And it has nothing to do with Renteria. It actually has 100% to do with Renteria. I just do not think that they would have been good this year. I just think Ross is the perfect next manager after Joe Bannon. And Renteria would have not been a good solution for them.
No, I don't think. I think the low on Renteria thing is that it's just proof is in the pudding, right? Where it's like, he just isn't that type of manager to get that team to that level, right? You kind of listen. I love Rick Renteria. I think he's a great dude, and the way that he'll tell you, "Hey, Rick, that was really shitty today." Yoan Moncada went over 3 with 2 strikeouts and a pop up to the catcher, and he's like, it wasn't great, but the way you look at it is you learn from this and you figure this out. We're gonna move here, and that's great. I like that about Rick Renteria. Rick Renteria might be like a really good like minor league guy or like somebody to be in charge of like developing guys like that. That's what he's good at. Because if I'm a team that has a lot of young talent I want to develop, I'm looking at Rick Renteria, especially if the Sox go and win a World Series within the next 3 years. Because now you've got a case, right? You've already have it with the Cubs, and then if he does it here with the Sox. Teams should be knocking on his door, calling his phone, be like, Rick, hey man, we're the Tigers and we fucking suck. You can fucking help us out here, or whatever. I do believe that you will see that because there is value in that, 100%. There is a value in being a manager that is the bridge from something that was really bad with what was going down with Ventura, the bridge to get us to whatever's next, which should hopefully be contention, shit like that. Yeah. As a White Sox fan, boy, I was like, whew.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing Renteria as the bench coach for the Orioles, where we didn't have one this past year, and we do have a lot of young guys coming up, and it will for a couple years here. And so I actually would not be opposed to bringing him in whatsoever. I think it'd actually be a pretty good hire.
Oh, 100%.
So,
I think
we have 2 Chicago guys, got Hyde, and then we have Renteria there. So.
Oh yeah.
Boom. Run.
Renteria is just basically the Tyrod Taylor. He's not going to see the fruition of an actual good team, but you'll be the bridge.
Oh, so he's the Buck Showalter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I really wanted Buck to win one there, but wasn't meant to be.
For the first time, we have a derailment coming from BK. I have to find some train music to put in here. That's what I'll do. Choo choo. All right, I'm gonna turn this off so I can see. All right, what is this derailment, BK?
Okay, so it's gonna be a long one. So get comfy. Get this gonna tell a little story here. Went to a wedding over the weekend, and that's why I missed a lot of sports. We were in Martinsville, Virginia, and then hopping back and forth. It's near the state line of North Carolina, so we were kind of zigzagging across in the mountains there. And it was on a nice wedding was on a very, very nice, like, it was old tobacco farm, like 50 plus acres. It was freaking huge. The TV was out though, so there was not a lot of sport watching while I was there. And I met a bunch of people. I didn't really know anyone. It was a great time, and I met some. They were uncles of the bride, and they were from West Virginia and from Missouri, and they were talking about killing a hog and how much meat you get from the hog and everything like that, because a couple of guys have farms. And so he was going through, telling me like, oh yeah, I killed a 289-pound hog and got 189 pounds of meat, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh wow, that's a lot of meat. He's like, oh yeah, would have had more, but no one likes like the skin, cracklings. So no one in my family does, so had to get rid of that. A waste of money. It's like, well, no one likes the chitlins, intestines, so I had to get rid of that. And he's like, oh yeah, and then had to get rid of the head because I couldn't do hog brain cheese. And I was like, pause. Time out. What's hog brain cheese? Oh, it's some deep South shit. I was like, well, I'm from Maryland originally. My parents grew up in North Carolina. I live in North Carolina now. I was like, he's like deep South shit. Emphasize, double down. So I was like, man, what it is, I gotta figure out how to share my screen here. How do you do that?
On Discord, you click share your screen, and then you set to what you want it to be shared, and it'll take over your picture.
Go live.
There it is.
Did I do it right?
Wait. Yes.
No.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah. So now Pete and I will click on the watch stream.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
So do you see? Is it on meats and sausages? Do you see that right now?
Yes.
Okay. So hog brain cheese. They literally take the head of the hog, they cook it all the way down till all the meat sloughs off, and they essentially make a gelatin out of the head meat, like ears, snout, everything, and then they take part of the feet and all that stuff, and they make it into like a gelatin, and they eat that like on bread and saltines and stuff.
Oh my god. What is wrong with people?
Look at that! Look at that right there! Put that on some white bread and eat it!
It looks disgusting.
Colleen's looking at it from over my shoulder, and she's just like, oh!
Oh my god.
That is my small derail.
I don't know what's more concerning to me, the fact that you're looking at this or all the tabs you have open.
Bro, don't hate on my tabs.
Wait, so
I got 16 gigs of RAM on this sucker. I gotta use it up somehow.
Wait. So BK, are you bringing this to like a Super Bowl party then? Is this gonna be like a party dish for you?
I can actually, because I know we're talking about coming up there, to Chicago in December. We can just totally bring some of this, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, some hog brain cheese.
You're good.
So I looked away for a second. But no, I just want to talk about that. And quick shout out to the happy married couple there, Samantha Walker and David Richmond. So I guess we'll Mr. and Mrs. David Richmond now. But to shout out to them, it was a beautiful wedding on her parents' property. The rain tried to ruin it, but it was still a fantastic time. And like I said, man, like, what a property. It was 50 plus acres. I don't know if I've actually seen that outside of going to like a park.
Jesus.
So it was cool. Like they had pigs, cows, chickens, horses. It was really great. And so just shout out to them. Great wedding. Thanks for letting me tag along. And that's it for my derail. I hope y'all learned something.
That's so fucking gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I didn't want to tell y'all too. I wanted to see the reaction real time. I gotta stop sharing my screen.
I was gonna say, I love on the Discord right now. It's just like BK, me, Pete, and then there it is. There's some hog brain cheese. Fucking
hog brain cheese.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just. I'm glad I got to see the reaction real time. It was what I wanted.
Nasty.
And so yeah, hit us up on Twitter and Facebook and Insta.
Enjoy hog brain cheese.
Yeah, and tell us how you feel about hog brain cheese, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how much you do not want to eat it.
I'm gonna have to ask my mom because like her, she's born in Italy, but her dad's side straight from the holler in West Virginia, real deep in West Virginia. So I'm gonna ask her, I'm like, have any of like your crackhead cousins told you like Break Jesus. And also, Pete, I don't know what he was talking about. He's talking about West Virginia. Did Austin Mackley in your head just start going? Just West Virginia.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, every
anytime,
yep.
anytime the two words are put together, John Denver's in my head instantly.
Yeah.
At least for a second. At least.
Oh, hell yeah. Let me tell you. You know what's
Yeah.
in my head? Football, because it's still going. God damn it.
Oh, yeah. Great segue.
Thank you. I do my best. The Packers are 4-0. They had a bye week. The Bears
Yeah,
and
they
the
are,
Ravens
baby.
are 4-1. Yeah, wow, the Bears won. Weird. Brady had a brain fart. He's getting old. It happens. Don't worry about it. It happens to the best of us. He didn't know what down it was, bro. Yeah, fourth. I love that he embraces the memes, though. Like, he posted a picture of LeBron with his face with 4, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
Respect. And that's what I was referencing earlier with the whole, like, the LeBron, the respect thing, and, like, how Tom Brady has dealt with this, like, for quite some time with, like, the GOAT talk and all that. And I just feel like he kind of he steers into, like, the turn. He just, like, you just got to roll with it. Just lean into it. And then if you lean into it, it's really harder for people to make fun of you because you're making fun of yourself. And they're like, darn, he beat us to the punch.
Sort of a bitch. I don't think Tom sounds like that, but that's all right. Oh my God, the Titans won 42-16. Jesus. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hit any of my bets. That sucks.
I should have kept the Titans. I'm so stupid.
Yeah. BK made the call right after the show. Didn't want to do it because he's like, "Ooh, they got COVID."
Because I wasn't sure they were gonna play or who was gonna play, and
unreal.
I mean that is a good point BK brought up though. Like with who was gonna play? Yeah, I mean they got all those positive tests. Did any of you notice any of the top Titans out? Who in the heck even tested positive?
I don't know.
Like everybody seemed to play except for Corey. I mean Corey Davis I know tested positive, but that's it. That I know that was like big.
I was like, that's the only one.
Unreal.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Jeez, Johnny Smith. God. I had a trade. Someone was trying to trade me Johnny Smith earlier in the year. I said no. But they wanted OBJ, so I was like,
Josh had Johnny Smith and AJ Brown going tonight. That
went pretty well for him.
That's a full-on erection.
God damn, that's a lot of points.
That's a stiff one.
I was gonna say that's a stiffy. What's not stiff? It's very flaccid, very very soft. The Atlanta Falcons. Dan Quinn fired. Tom Dimitroff fired. Matt Ryan, I don't know, dude. I honestly, I didn't even think about Matt Ryan possibly not being an Atlanta Falcon, but, now, I don't know, right? You're going to get, obviously you have an interim head coach right now, but you're eventually going to get a full-on new head coach. You're going to get a new GM, and what usually happens with that is you kind of want your guy, right? I mean, we kind of saw it a little bit. Ron Rivera trying to figure out who the fuck his guy is. I don't know. It's not, apparently it's not Haskins. It's not, I don't know who the fuck it is. But you start to see that. So, Pete, I'll start with you. What is this future here for the Atlanta Falcons, who are 0-5?
I'm telling you, a lot of question marks to start off, like the future. Because, I mean, you went all in this year if you were Atlanta. You got Todd Gurley, and you really thought that this team, when healthy, was going to be good and at least compete in a really tough NFC South. Now, in terms of, the future for Matt Ryan, it's really going to depend on where they land, in the draft. Because if you're in the top 5, top 6, category, if you're Atlanta, you got to draft a quarterback, right? I mean, you got to have something, to fall back on. Because Matt Ryan's just getting older. He did not look great. I mean, against a really bad, in my opinion, Packers defense. He did not look good, and he didn't look good this past week either. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, that's the future for Matt Ryan. But the only thing that's saving Matt Ryan is I think if they cut him after this year, they still owe him he has dead cap of nearly $50 million if they cut him after this year.
Ew.
So Matt Ryan will be on that roster next year. Now after that, it goes down to $26 million, which is still a ton of money, but he'll be on the roster next year, so he could possibly teach a younger quarterback. But if they're in that top 6 to 7 range or whatever, they should draft the quarterback. If not, I don't know what they do. I mean, because you got Julio who's getting older too. what do you do with Julio? Do you trade Julio and see what you can get for him?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of teams that would, could need a receiver. Green Bay, be cool to have Julio.
That's more.
But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams out there, especially a market for Julio when healthy. I mean, obviously that hamstring's, a thing there for him. But, yeah, a lot of question marks with this team. And, I mean, we were talking about this before. I mean, for weeks about Dan Quinn being fired. So it's no surprise. And Dimitroff should have been fired with him. I mean, I know BK's talked about this numerous points, I think, last few weeks with him, being even on a hotter seat than Dan Quinn because he brought in all these guys. So, yeah, you talk about a team that I think definitely is the biggest disappointment. I mean, it's them in Houston, for biggest disappointments this year.
I think that the only thing that saved Houston is that, like, everyone knew that Bill O'Brien really fucked up.
And their schedule.
And their schedule. Whereas the Falcons, you just thought, like, I mean, listen, you should have won. You should at least have 2 wins. You should have beat the Cowboys. You should have beat the Bears. And you imploded both times, and that's just bad. But when you see a coach go and GM go, usually that indicates, like, we're getting a full-on fucking rebuild here.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Yep. BK, where are you right now on the 0-5 Dirty Birds?
Well, yeah, like, thanks, for PT for the shot there. Like, I was calling it that just, if Quinn's going, Dimitroff has to go too, just with the constant trading up. It's just like, it's going to bite you in the butt eventually because in the NFL, the NFL and the NHL, I think you need a lot of depth. You just... Because, NFL mostly because of the injuries, and so many guys are playing at once in the NHL because 3 lines. So, that's just, and I'm looking at Julio Jones, who I always call him Julio Jones contract. Julio Jones, cap hit next year, $23 million.
Oh,
cap hit 2022, just over $19 million. And they have an out after 2022, so it'd be a dead cap hit of $7.75 million. So it goes back to where Dimitroff signed older guys to these big contracts, but I can't blame him for the Julio one because that was when he signed that the other year. That's when all the wide receivers were getting big money. So I get it, and he is a top 5. I'm bumping him down from top 3 down to top 5 because of injury history, which I feel like is fairly reasonable. So they gotta. Yeah, it sucks. But you gotta do a full-on rebuild, like you said, which you referenced. Like the GM and head coach are gonna want their guy. I don't know if that's Matt Ryan. I've been saying about this year in the NFL, you've seen it, especially with the lack of a preseason. If your quarterback is older, they're not looking good outside of Aaron Rodgers. Like he's the main older quarterback that's just been looking like a stud, and so. It's worse. I kind of feel for Falcons fans that sucks. And if a team is willing to take on Julio's contract, which I think a team would. I think they should even trade Julio this year. I mean, if you're Julio, he wants to win a ring. He's got to. Same with Matty Ice. And they're still tons of pieces away. That defense is atrocious. The offense isn't still where it needs to be. You have a great young receiver in Calvin Ridley, so you can hold on to him. And running back, it is what it is. Like, Gurley's not going to be there forever. He's only going to be there a year or 2. So, I don't know. It's time to full-on rebuild. That's how I usually am. Either go all in or go all out. Don't half-ass it. Put all your chips in and pay to play. So, I think that's what the Falcons need to do.
100%. Yeah, they got to decide here what's going to happen, and I do believe it's leaning towards full-on rebuild down in Atlanta. 100%. We got the Bears. Yeah, I talked about the Bears beat the Bucs. Tom didn't know what down it was, but I knew Khalil Mack knew what the fuck was going on because he was beating Tom Brady's ass all game long. Tom was out there bitching. He was upset, frustrated. I've never seen Tom get that dirty. That's pretty wild. So good on the Bears for figuring that out.
I've seen Tom Brady slide with his foot up in the air towards Ed Reed. So,
no, I mean, no. I meant like him getting beat to the ground as often.
Oh, I know. But I've seen him do dirty shit.
Oh, Tommy Terrific, dude. He does no wrong. Except
look it up!
Except he doesn't. I don't look those up. It's like when people want to talk about bad Jordan years. I'm like, I don't see those.
Nope. It's called the
Never
entire,
happened.
his entire, yeah.
Yeah, they don't exist. It's fine.
I was watching like this. I'm like, oh, cool, MJ's in town.
Holy shit. But I mean, hey man, shout out to the Bears. Way to get that win. Weird. It's 4-1, and waiting for the 1-10 run here to hit. It's gonna be great.
Oh my god.
Can't wait. No, we'll see. I just feel like if I keep being down, like eventually, it won't hurt me as bad. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
It's a positive way to look at it. Honestly, it's a good way to look at it.
The old, like I said, with the dodgeball thing, where it's like, oh, if you never set high expectations for yourself, you never fail to meet them, so you're always happy.
Bingo.
Bro.
Pete, what's going on with the Raiders, dude?
Man, that was shocking. That was shocking. How about that? You know? How about the Raiders, man?
Hey, Raiders.
Yeah.
The bane of Pete's existence this year, the Raiders.
Yeah, man.
Listen, bro. That's their fucking material right there. Boom. On the wall.
You know what? Shout out to John Gruden. Great job coaching. I know you're listening, clearly, since I talked so much shit about you about 6 weeks ago. So screw you, Gruden. But no, I mean that was. I mean, who saw that coming? Like seriously, who? Like no one saw that coming.
We all pick Kansas City, so not us.
Yeah. So I mean, like, but okay. So this is something I was talking about like a little bit last week, like with the Patriots. I mean, if the Patriots had a capable quarterback, they might have beaten the Chiefs. So do they like have some sort of formula now, like to beat? Like did the Raiders kind of expose that? And the formula, is basically just run the ball, right? Keep Mahomes off the field. Like I mean, it's not anything special. Just the Raiders did that really well.
It's just keep the ball out of the playmaker's hands in that case, where it's just Patrick Mahomes can't get in a rhythm, and that's just been proving with any primary passing offense. Like you have to get into a rhythm, you have to have the ball, and just the Raiders are built perfectly to beat that because they can run and they do a play action because they have Darren Waller who will just catch everything that's over the middle and can get you 6 yards. And so, all right, cool. So you rush for 2 yards on first and second down. Play action, third down, 6 yards, first down. All right, drive continues. Run again. And then you still have the deep threat of Ruggs. And that defense, despite having no big names, competitive. I mean, nothing great, but you don't have – what they do is they get after the quarterback. The Mad Max guy?
Max Crosby.
Yes, that guy, man. Yeah. He reminds me. He's just a high motor player like Rob Ninkovich and Michael McCrary, formerly of the Baltimore Ravens. There, just like he's fun to watch, and he also just seems like a mean dude. Like I actually just like kind of like Marshawn Lynch. He's like Marshawn Lynch. Whenever he's out in public, he's like, all right, just don't talk to him. He's doing his thing. Like I feel the same with Crosby. He's like, I don't want to run into him. He might just smack me.
Rob Ninkovich, pride of Joliet Junior College. Let's fucking go, dude.
Stud.
Go Wolves.
You're welcome.
Let me tell you, just as an update, tying run is on first for the Braves and Dodgers in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah.
8-6.
I took down that tab after you were talking shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared here. Yeah, they did have the Braves to start the inning. Did have Josh Tomlin in as now Clevelander. I know that Josh Tomlin was terrible for the Tribe. So this might be 100% Josh Tomlin's fault, but he's a really nice guy. So
nice.
I don't want to say anything bad about him. Nice guy, but yeah, he kind of blew this if they lost.
Might have fucked this up. Not good.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And also, the guy up happens to be Bellinger right now.
Yeah.
So.
0 for 4, 2 strikeouts.
Oh, so it's probably easy.
He's due.
It's Melanson. Melanson's been solid.
Yeah.
I hope the Braves hang on here.
I'm sorry if I got a little angry there, Ryan. I was just joking. I felt
you did have you have a lot of tabs. You're like I went to my mobile phone, the mobile browser at Google Chrome on my phone. Not mobile phone, guys. I sound like I'm junior.
A mobile.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All of a sudden, fucking I was sitting there and I'm like, why the fuck do I have 40 fucking tabs open on this bitch? And I'm like going through and I'm like, oh, I have a lot of shit in here. I guess I was looking at, because I like open it and I save it because I'm like, oh yeah, I might need to look at that again later. You know, shit I want to buy, I guess. I don't fucking know. That's weird. Anyway, sorry everybody.
Bellinger just got a triple.
Oh.
So this might happen. This might happen.
No! I was sitting here. Melanson has been really good all postseason. Oh my gosh.
He just hung a breaking ball. Oh my god.
8-7. If you're joining us, they can't join us live. So when you're hearing this tomorrow,
or watching
podcast listeners, you're getting some quality podcast interaction here.
You are.
Absolutely.
I'll try to get things back on track here.
Yes, get this back on track.
The Schittsburg Steelers beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and Chase Claypool, second-round draft pick out of Notre Dame. Holy crap! 4 touchdown performance.
Should have been 5.
Yeah. I was playing against someone who left him on the bench. That was fun. So, but is Chase Claypool next in the line of like, okay, we're the Steelers, we'll draft whoever we want as wide receiver? Like, I mean, they could draft the crazy Philadelphia Flyers mascot. I forget his with the crazy eyes.
Is it Grinder?
Grinder?
No,
it's something.
No, it's something. No, it's
Gritzy.
Gritzy. It's something weird.
They could draft him, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Stud. He would be a fantasy stud. That's what I'm saying. Just, my goodness. It sucks to be a Ravens fan and play them.
True.
It does.
It really does. It's Gritty. Sorry.
Gritty.
That makes sense. It's over. It's done. The Braves win. Let's fucking go.
Let's go. But no, BK, what are you talking about with Claypool? The amazing thing is, well, how good of a draft this was for receivers. 10 receivers went before Claypool, and he was just on the Pat McAfee show a couple days ago, and he was talking, and he was like, it would have been great to like celebrate and just get blackout drunk after the game. I mean, that dude is saying that on on a show. Like, how can you not like the dude? Like, he scored 4 touchdowns, so he just wants to get blackout drunk. I mean, like, the dude's like a typical, 21, 22-year-old? Respect. At least he's not giving your BS answers. He actually told you what he wanted to do. Wanted to get blackout drunk.
Should have been like, I'm ready to beat the fuck out of the Browns. That's what I'm ready to do.
Oh, that would have been badass.
Ooh. Chase Claypool, yeah. BK, to answer your question, yes. The Steelers, listen, do not miss on receivers, apparently.
No.
I mean, even like when they went and got like Sammy Coates, like he had some games where you're like, wow, okay, fuck, that's cool for like a 4th wideout. Why not? And then you got Deontay Johnson. Why the fuck not? Why? Just go ahead. It doesn't matter. Like this, my God, dude, the Steelers just don't, and they don't. None of them are 1st-round wide receivers ever. They go for 2nd and on, and it's insane. But yeah, the Steelers, man, weird. I really thought they'd beat the piss out of Philadelphia a little bit more. Miles Sanders got going. The Eagles' offense showed flashes, but then the Steelers' defense kind of was struggling, and then they started to get to Wentz a little bit. I thought Wentz was gonna get knocked out of the game. I was wrong on that side. They saved him. There it is. But Chase Claypool, god damn, dude, Ben is out here on a fucking mission right now. It is scary.
I mean, I think we forget that.
See, speaking of age, speaking of quarterbacks looking old.
Well, he did have last year off, so.
Oh.
Well, not off, but he was injured, so I don't know. Outlier in the data set, I would claim. But all right, yes, okay, but yeah, still Drew Brees, hasn't been the greatest, and same with Tom. So.
But I mean, the thing with Ben, with the defense they have, he doesn't have to do, that much. And he has so many weapons around him. It's not like the Saints or even like Brady and the Bucks, where they're putting a lot of the onus of their team on him. Ben doesn't have to do all that anymore.
Yeah, true. That's very true. They've got a good running game. I mean, not that like I mean, Breeze has fucking Kamara. There's,
Yeah.
you know, and like Brady, you hope starts to use Fournette more and Rojo more. Obviously, and Godwin's hurt. Evans is pretty banged up still. I mean, like I get it. You lost OJ Howard. There's issues on all those teams. I get that. But well, I guess let's just I'll skip around here. Let's segue into the 49ers, right? Or I'm sorry, New Orleans Saints, who they played last night, Monday Night Football. Justin Herbert, dude, going against all of them. He had to go against Mahomes, had to go against Brady, and went against Breeze, and he took them all to the fucking brink, dude. Justin Herbert is that dude, 100%. Pete had him and dropped him, and I was very upset because then I didn't get him.
Well, no, I dropped him. Okay, I have a good explanation. So I honestly dropped him because Fitzpatrick was still available. And he was going against Seattle's defense, and you're traveling West Coast to East Coast. And I was like, oh, let's go, light it up. And then, yeah, it was a big mistake on my part. Huge mistake.
All right, now David's down. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't even have David on the podcast to talk about his boy, Justin Herbert, and hype him up. Yeah, he's got to be his hype man. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, with the whole Oregon thing, too. Yeah, I just realized that.
He did hype him up a little bit last week where he was like, yeah, dude, hey, you showed some promise at Oregon, too, and this is going to keep going. And I was like, oh, all right. And then Justin Herbert's like, let me ball the fuck out on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think people forget, too, is that Herbert stayed an extra year in college. Like, I think Kuiper and McShay had him as, like, the one or second best quarterback available after his junior season. Like, he could have left, but he elected to stay one more year at Oregon. And then that's when Joe Burrow just tore up, the SEC and everything, and Tua had another 2 a year, and Herbert kind of had a little bit of a down year, but then he finished the year strong there and actually showed a lot of athleticism running the ball a little bit more. But I think people forget about that with Herbert. Like he was originally projected to be like top 2 to 5 overall pick, and then just had a subpar senior year. So
100%.
Good for the Chargers for an organization with arguably some of the worst luck that I've seen in terms of like injuries and everything, and just ugh.
Like Keenan Allen hurt again. Why not? Jesus.
That guy can't stay healthy. I love Keenan Allen. I think he's a talent, and from NC State, so it's like ugh. But
taxes and Allen getting hurt every fucking year. It's unbelievable.
True.
But let's take a look at the New Orleans side, right? Pete's boy, Michael Thomas, throwing punches.
Oh, yeah.
Supposedly getting into it with Sean Payton. Got punished, didn't play Monday night. And it was almost like the Saints really punished themselves. Because, man, that offense sucks without Michael Thomas. Bad. I mean, this is really bad to watch from Drew Brees. It is sad.
Looks old.
Well, yeah, and I think the thing is, all right, so Emmanuel Sanders had a great game. I mean, he caught 6-yard passes there from Breeze. But hey, I don't think you would have felt like much confidence to start him. But no, I mean, you look at that Saints offense. Those 6-yard passes that go to Emmanuel Sanders are a little bit different than 6-yard passes that go to Michael Thomas, because Michael Thomas turns those 6-yard gainers into 12 or 15 because of how physically gifted he is. So that offense looks a lot better with Michael Thomas. So I'm interested to see what the Saints offense actually looks like and what Drew Brees looks like when he has Michael Thomas. Because if he continues to kind of struggle with Michael Thomas, then it's an issue. But, I mean, the thing that scares me the most for the Saints is that defense. Is their defense that everybody was talking about last year and the year before, how improved it is, how much better it is. Teams are, they let Herbert go off on them. And, yeah, he had Allen, initially. But, after that, he had, it was Mike Williams and Mike Williams. God, you talk about a guy who gets hurt all the time. They had Mike Williams as their number one receiver, and he's still torching them. There as, with Herbert and without, and we didn't even talk about this, but his stud running back, Eckler.
Yep.
They didn't even have him, and Herbert still looked good. So, yeah, that's honestly the biggest worry there for me for that Saints team is that defense is not very good.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, I'll go back to, I think I said this after, week 2 or 3. Play whoever is playing the Saints, play the tight end for the opposing team. Hunter Henry, 4 receptions, 23 yards, but got the tutty, so it turns into a good fantasy day for a tight end. Whatever tight end is playing the Saints, play them. Demario Davis can knock out. Demario Davis is great in run stopping ability. Can't cover worth a shit. They cannot cover over anything in the seams or over the middle. And the secondary, I think the secondary has been a disappointment. They're just not covering guys. And they have they spend a lot of money in that secondary. So if you're Saints fans, I think you got to be a little worried.
You know who else should probably be worried? The San Francisco 49ers. Got fucking smacked by the Miami Dolphins. Fitzmagic and them went to town on the Niners. Jimmy Garoppolo gets pulled for Beathard. My God, not good. Not good. Where are we at here with San Francisco, BK?
Well, Jimmy G getting pulled, and then you thrown in C.J. Beathard, Chris Collinsworth, favorite underdog quarterback of all time. They're best friends. They go for drinks every Saturday night.
Damn.
That's a reference to the podcast last week, so everyone should check that out. Turnover Tuesday from last week. But man, but I also think part of it with the 49ers is they've had a lot of bad luck this year, injury-wise. So it's and you can cough up part of that too is the Super Bowl hangover. Every team that loses it has it. It's kind of unavoidable. It's like the Madden curse for the most part, except it's more reliable, I think, than the Madden curse because that's been broken before quite a few times. So yeah, if you're the 49ers, you got to get a QB. Jimmy G is okay, but in today's NFL, because it's so QB oriented, your QB can't be okay. Yeah, he has to be good.
Yeah, ask the Bears. It's not great.
Yeah. So I think they gotta, but they'll do something. John Lynch makes fantastic trades, and Shanahan is a great mind. So I don't think they're in the running for the Super Bowl or NFC Championship. So but if I'm a 49ers fan, I wouldn't be worried just because I think that core is still young, it's still there, so they got time. I think they have another year or two window.
Oh, okay. I see where you're coming from then. Yeah, and in that sense, I wouldn't be worried then either. Pete, where are you at on the Niners?
Well, as BK was talking, I just thought of something for the Niners, and I mean, yeah, they've had a lot of injuries, especially defensively. That defense is not what it was last year, and I think that has a huge domino effect on the team as well as Jimmy Garoppolo and the rest of the team. Because Jimmy just basically had to play, hey, don't F this up. That's all he really had to do last year. Now it's all right, we actually need you to make plays. And it almost ties into, we talked about with the Falcons and the self-destruct. If Julio is available, that's an offense he'll know. He'll know the Shanahan offense. That would be a smooth transition. Does Lynch want to fork out the money for him? Probably not. But that's an option, for them to upgrade the receiver position. I know they just got Debo back. It wasn't last week. It was the week prior. So they're starting to get him back. Kittle still is a stud. I mean, the Dolphins just smacked the crap out of them, which, no one saw coming. So, the Garoppolo, benching, it had to do, they weren't sure. I mean, Shanahan, I don't know if he already admitted this or not. I don't know if it was an injury related where they were falling behind, so they had to pass a lot, and they didn't want to stress, Garoppolo's leg or whatever it was. But, yeah, I mean, they're struggling, big time here, and this was definitely probably the shock of the weekend. I mean, other than, the Raiders, but, I mean, no one saw the Dolphins, in their right mind going into, San Francisco and destroying the Niners.
No.
Dismantling.
They did. No one did see that. Now, a few people did see the Browns beating the Colts. They're 4-1 for the first time since 1994. My God, Dan wasn't even born yet. And the real test is against the Pittsburgh Steelers this coming week, which we will get to later in the show. But shout out to the Browns, looking really good against a very good Colts defense. 100%. Great job.
Oh, yeah.
Company. Good job. Love to see it. He's a little banged up, but he said he'll be good to go because Mama didn't raise a wuss, he said. So that's what you want to hear.
I mean, not wrong.
Yeah, he makes great commercials, so it's cool. What's not good is damn. That Cowboys game. The Dak injury, bro. That sucked. It sucked for a lot of reasons, right? It sucks for fantasy purposes. It sucks as a football fan because you don't like to see anybody get hurt, especially somebody that's like, could be, a franchise quarterback like that. Like, that's tough to see. A lot of people giving Tony Romo a lot of shit for him saying, like, you have to hope it's a cramp. And, like, I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, okay, because the first angle you just see him, like, holding his calf, and I'm like, I didn't see his foot. So I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe he did. And then I'm like, oh, no, your foot's not supposed to look like that. That's turned all the way to the right. That's not okay. Then they show the video, and it's like, oh, wow. Obviously, you start to get really worried, but he did have a successful surgery, which is great. Andy Dalton came in. The Cowboys were able to beat the Giants just barely. That's a bad division. My thing is here, what is the future of Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, Pete?
I think he is going to be a Cowboy. And I mean, I guess it works. Well, it can work a couple ways, a couple different ways there for him. I think he's going to get paid. If they struggle massively, all right, so say they struggle and, they don't win the division and they turn into a top 10 pick, Dak's going to be paid a lot of money because they're going to find out, you know what, Dak actually, deserves it because clearly we are a top 10 worst, like right at the bottom football team without us. But yeah, I mean, in terms of him signing, I think he signs there. I don't know how he doesn't. And I think Dallas knows that there's no better option really than Dak there for that team. And I think they would lose a lot of respect in that locker room if Dak did leave.
BK?
I think Stephen Jones today said that, Dak would be the quarterback going forward. But that's talk is cheap. And what you said, P2, about the respect rings loudly because I remember, when he went down, I actually did see that game. I was watching it live, and I remember I saw the replay because they didn't realize it was going to be that bad when they showed it in slow motion. I remember I ran to the kitchen, and I was like, God, his ankle just, oh my God. I was like, the inside of it just went down to the ground, and it was awful. And you feel bad for it because, one, he's a great guy. And then what I was thinking, it seemed like every Cowboys player came up. And then Mike McCarthy was exact. Jason Garrett was there. Like, at the drop of a hat, was like there. Just to make sure that, he was okay. And he was crying. And it looks really bad on the Cowboys if you lowball them, I think, now. And, yeah, usually that doesn't work, but I think because he's such a good guy and he spoke up about mental health awareness earlier, with his brother's unfortunate suicide. So it looks really bad if you lowball him and don't offer him something like that, especially after this injury. You got to give him fair market value, but Andy Dalton didn't do that bad.
No.
That's like, for a guy who hadn't played it all this year, like I said, no preseason, older, he's not that old yet. He's getting there, but he didn't look bad. Look, they're in the NFC East. They're not going to have a top 10 pick because they're in the NFC East, and they'll make it out of there.
Yeah, that's true. That you can win you're gonna go 7-9 and 6-10 and win that division. That's how bad it is.
And honestly, Andy Dalton could win a playoff game because he's not going to be in Cincinnati anymore.
There it is. The dirty natty.
Being honest.
But yeah, obviously, I get you. I mean, it's that was the Ravens fan in you. That's all right.
Baby.
Yeah, you hope to see obviously Dak come back and be able to get it going again. That was so shitty, man. I was just like sitting there. I'm like, oh no, that is not good. And I went over to Jose's later. He has him in like 3 or 4 leagues. So he was just like the end. Like he's like, this is the end. And then then the one league, yeah, Justin Herbert. So I'm like, you're all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh yeah.
That does suck for the Cowboys, and this division just continues to get worse and worse. Moving forward here, we had a great Sunday night game. The Vikings, out of all the times, I took a bet where I was like, dude, the Vikings defense has sucked all year. So the Seahawks are about to tear these motherfuckers up. And no, they didn't, because the Vikings defense decided to show up in the rain in Seattle. Cool. But it was still a great game. Seahawks end up pulling it out late. But the big thing here is, BK, you called it that DK Metcalf was going to fully emerge as a top 10 wide receiver, so I will give you the floor.
Sorry, I was getting past a note from my lovely fiance assistant. DK Metcalf, 6 receptions for 93 yards and 2 motherfucking touchdowns. My dude. DK Metcalf's stats on the year. So far, 39 targets, 22 receptions, 496 yards, 5 TDs. He had 7 TDs last year and 900 yards. So, he's on pace to break both of those that he had as a rookie, which is not bad. That catch he had at the end and those final drives, it really reminded me, as a Raiders fan, Anquan Bolden, who would, and Antonio Gates, kind of insert big receiver here, just big body, and just boxes out and just bodies smaller guys. And the thing is, can still high point the ball, catch it with his hands. He's so dynamic, and happy for Russell Wilson to finally have a top tier wide receiver. No offense to Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's a very good wide receiver, but I don't think he's a bona fide number one like DK Metcalf, who is going to finish, like I said, he's going to finish the year as a top 10 wide receiver. Like, I feel awesome about that. Now, if an injury happens or anything like that, I feel like that doesn't count at that point. Like, we got to say, oh, come on, I feel like that's reasonable. Like, So, that was a good game. And I kind of liked how Kirk Cousins kind of played well down the stretch there. He had some good passes. He didn't let him down. He certainly kept him in the game.
Seattle's defense was looking a little rough, too. I mean, letting Dalvin Cook run all over him, then he got hurt. Then Madison came in and ran all over him. It was like, Jesus. KJ Wright with an insane interception. My God.
One-handed!
He got up. That was nuts. Pete, what did you see here from Seattle and Minnesota?
Well, yeah, I mean, the first half was just weird. I mean, yeah, you had this explosive Seahawks offense that has looked so great all year, and they just threw up a dud in that first half. And then for them, I think Minnesota was up, what was it, maybe 10-3, 13-3, or whatever it was at half, and I was like, they're in trouble. Because they're only up 10, and you know that Seahawks offense, for as explosive as they were not going to play like that there in the second half. So, and then that third quarter happened, and that was a rush. And I could not only imagine, I can only imagine how that Seahawks stadium would have been in that second half to start with that run that they had. That would have been insane to see how loud that place would have gotten. But yeah, I mean, this was a fantastic game, and to BK's point about DK Metcalf, I mean, Russ at the end of the game was just looking for him. It just didn't matter. All the important plays, he's going right to DK. That's exactly who he's zeroing in on. And then for the Vikings, I mean, you feel bad. I mean, I don't, because I hate the Vikings. But, I mean, if you had to feel bad for someone, I guess it would be the Vikings, because they might be, and this is going to sound stupid, but they might be the most talented 1-4 team in the NFL.
Yeah.
They might be the best 1-4 team. I mean, they played a lot of really good games. And yeah, they should have won this game, and they went toe-to-toe with the Seahawks, who, a lot of people, still have as, the premier team in the NFC. So, yeah, I mean, Kirk had a couple bad throws. I mean, the pick by Wright was insane that he did have there in that game. But, yeah, I mean, they played tough. But, yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson ended the game. I mean, well, a question for you guys. So, that decision that the Vikings went for it, on fourth down, I think they were at 10-yard line or whatever, and it was 4th and inches or 4th and 1. Would you guys have gone for it, or would you kick the field goal?
Gone for it.
Yeah, I think I would have leaned. When you really break it down, the numbers are close enough that I think you would just go for it there. And you take the chance.
Yeah.
You take that little bit of an extra risk just to end the game.
Well,
that's what I think too.
There's no fans, so it's easier to do a real good hard count. Because because you think about with the 12th man there and they're closer to the end zone where it's going to be louder, oh my gosh, yeah, go. I still would have even gone for it, but I think with less fans there, you got to go for it. And one quick thing before you go and give your takes, Ryan. Russell Wilson was sacked 4 times that game, all in the first half. Yeah. So, like, Seahawks O-line and this Russell Wilson's escapability, like, that's kind of that's why the Vikings defense fell off the second half. They did not get to Russell Wilson again.
100%. Russell was able to get moving. He's finding Metcalf, finding Lockett. Carson was getting involved. Like, I just think they really, in the second half, the Seahawks turned it around big time against that Seattle's defense, or Minnesota defense. And then, obviously, Dalvin Cook getting hurt kind of sucked for them, too. But I like to, BK, to your point, Kirk Cousins didn't look bad. Didn't look that bad in a primetime game. So, you like that? I guess. Still 1-4, so, like, fuck them. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, some of us NFC North teams already got 4 wins, baby. Don't worry about it. Woo!
True that.
And then just weird news. So reports came out earlier that the Jets were looking to trade Le'Veon Bell. I was like, all right, cool, why not? And then they're like, you know what? Right before we went live, no, fuck it, we released him. Fuck it, we don't want anything for Le'Veon Bell. Fuck that, no desire. I mean, you couldn't even like try to get a 3rd or a 4th, maybe for Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Le'Veon Bell is still a great running back. He's a good running back. I think that now get him out of the Jets, because you have to take that out of there. You need to take the fact that he was the Jets, Le'Veon Bell, out of there, because I still think he's very capable to be what he was in Pittsburgh. And now the question being, I guess part 1 is, where does Le'Veon Bell go, Mr. Peter TD?
I mean, we talked about this pre-show. I mean, it makes the most sense of Bears. It really does. Like, I mean, David Montgomery, like, he hasn't done it. I mean, Ryan, you could probably touch on this more, but, like, to me, David Montgomery's had a lot of opportunity. I know he was hurt a little bit last year, and I know he was hurt a little bit at the beginning of this year, but, like, you put Bell in that offense, like, Nagy is allergic to like running the ball, so he wants to just throw it. So, like, if you put Le'Veon Bell, you know, just in the slot, have him catch the ball, like, because Adam Gase is an idiot and forgot that, or no, didn't even forget, because he didn't even realize that, like, Le'Veon Bell is a good receiving back. I think that Bears offense would be very explosive if you put Le'Veon in that Bears offense. I think that makes the most sense there for them, but I don't know, because guess who's pulling the trigger? Ryan Pace. Who knows what he's going to do?
He probably didn't even know Le'Veon Bell got released yet.
He probably still thinks he's on the Steelers.
Oh my gosh!
Fucking A, man. It does, but like, yeah, Montgomery, to your point. Listen, I love on Sundays when we jump in the Discord with Dan and David and we watch the game, and like we watched the Bears game, not the Bucks one because I was at work, but we watched the Colts one and the one before, and like, my God, it's so great because every time David Montgomery runs, he gets like 2 yards. It's like, there it is. There it is. There we go. 2 yards of David Montgomery. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Then he'll get like 4. Like, holy shit, he got 4 yards on this run. I'm like, yeah, it's not great. Yeah, I would love Le'Veon Bell, the Bears. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Other than that, I think Miami's a great choice. That would be a spot where I think, like, if he, you know, it depends on what he wants, I guess. But I mean, he signed with the Jets, so he can't want to win. So I think he'll be all right if he goes to the Dolphins. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. At least you got some type of talent there in a direction. Jesus Christ, and a coach. BK, where do you think Le'Veon Bell ends up?
The Bears make the most sense, especially with their record right now. I think it shores them up. And what, like P2 said, you know, the Vikings being probably the best 1-4 team. All right, well, the Bears, you have a window right now. Like, starting the year 1-4 and still making the playoffs. That's a tough hill to climb for the Vikings. So I think if you're the Bears, you definitely have to take advantage, get Lev Bell. And I think the reason Lev Bell signed with the Jets was because he wanted a big payday. He just took the most money, and the Jets were just kicking it around that offseason because they also got C.J. Mosley, who is not even playing this year because of COVID. So the Jets are without their top 2 free agent signings from 2 years ago.
You'll love to see it.
So that. Oh yeah, and like the note in there, I forgot. You know, Adam Gase, head coach of the New York Football Jets, is not a good NFL coach. Do I still have that up? Oh man, you made me take it down. You make me feel bad.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm all like,
He is you want just to start the Jets record as Tukey did in the.
Oh no! Give us every year the breakdown, baby.
All right, here we go. 2016, first year as a head coach with the Miami Dolphins. 10-6, baby. 10-6, and they made the playoffs. So pretty cool, coaching a playoff game. 2017 with the Dolphins, 6-10. 2018 with the Dolphins, 7-9. 2019 with the Jets, 7-9. Right now, 0-5, which would put him at 30-39 with a playoff appearance. Gross.
He should be fired now. Like, absolutely now. Like, Dan Quinn was let go, and at least Dan Quinn made it to the Super Bowl.
You know what? What I'll say there, just to argue, I guess with that, is like you look at let's look at Marvin Lewis. When you talk about just settling for a long time, there was flashes. Yes, at times the Bengals showed flashes, right? With Carson Palmer, a couple of years at Andy Dalton, there are some flashes. But also, like, how long can you just accept being like a 7-9, an 8-8 football team? Same thing with the Bears at times, right? I mean, that is true too. So, I mean, I get it. But, like, my big thing with Adam Gase isn't just the record. It's just how he handles himself as a head coach, right? Because look at Mark Trestman, who, for all intents and purposes, I think they had, like, that one good year with the Bears.
Yeah.
But then you hear, like, the fact how he handled the player meetings and the stupid shit he did and his analytic bullshit and all this stuff. And it's like, that's not what I'm looking for in a head coach. Whereas, like, now I look at keep with the Bears, I look at Nagy, and I'd be like, at least, like, maybe his play calling sucks ass. Maybe he should give up that. But, like, he at least has the mentality and the way that he acts with his players and talks to his players, like a head coach. Where Adam Gase, I'm just like, dude, this guy just looks like he's really cracked out. And, like, I just don't like him at all. Trash.
Yeah, well, like I said with maybe the beginning of the year, is that Gase tried to ruin Ryan Tannehill for one more first-round draft pick for the Miami Dolphins, who is now tearing it up for the Tennessee Titans under Mike Vrabel. Had 4 touchdowns tonight, 3 passing, 1 rushing against the Bills' defense. That's pretty good. And he's ruined Sam Darnold, who is, I think I was hearing whispers of him being, like, you know, potentially on the trade block, because if you bring in a new head coach, which I think they're going to.
Honestly, thoughts and prayers of Trevor Lawrence right now.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yep.
That sucks. If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I think about staying another year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What if he just stays? Says, you know what, screw it.
Sucks.
Nope.
No, he already said he's done. He's already said he's leaving. Do you think he changes his mind, takes it back?
Take back. I don't want to be a Jet. A question for you. What's worse, MetLife Field or Adam Gase as a head coach?
Adam Gase.
Adam Gase, yeah.
Ooh, that was quick to pull the trigger. Yeah, the Jets suck, dude.
I'm not a fan.
No.
I'm not. Call me a hater.
No, you're just a realist. That Adam Gase is so shitty. Let's get to the picks. Let's do it. Let's see where we're at coming into this. So we all picked the Bills, so that was a wash. We all lost that one. But standings right now, David still in first with 18 points. Myself and Josh trailing. Or no, myself and Dan. Dan are trailing at 17. Josh is sitting at 16. BK at 15 and bringing up the rear. Petey, Tahiti, Argus at 13. You need a good week, man. That's what you need.
Nailing it, dude.
You need a good week. And
it's 5-0.
It starts right here, Pete. Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. Who do you got?
Definitely Steelers. No confidence in the Browns to win. What was it? It would be 5 in a row. No, that's saying it. I mean, the Steelers are tough. I think that this is going to be, I mean, I know we talked about this before, but yeah, this is going to see really where the Browns are. I think they're set up with the way they started this year for a 9-7, 10-6 possible wild card team, because I think Steelers and Ravens are still above them. But, yeah, this is going to be a tough game for them to win, especially at Pittsburgh. So I'm going Steelers.
BK.
Steel City.
There it is. Yeah, let's go Steelers, dude. Team's still good. Real good team. And I like the Browns. I think the Browns have been pretty good, but I just to see the Browns win 5 in a row just feels really weird. Again, it is 2020, but that's all right. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh here. Battle of the Bays: Green Bay versus Tampa Bay. BK.
Tampa Bay. I know I've been hating on older quarterbacks, but I think because I think Godwin's supposed to be back, and I think that's really hurting them. Like Evans' target share is way down, just because I think he's just, and especially without OJ Howard as well. Evans is just being doubled all over the place, so Tom just has nowhere to go. So if I think they get Godwin back, then they're fine.
Pete?
I'm going Tampa here just because at the beginning of the year, I thought this was going to be a loss. I do like the way the Packers are playing this year, but Tampa just looked so bad last week, and they had kind of a mini bye week with that Thursday night game, so I just can't imagine Tom Brady and that offense looking bad that next week. So this is kind of a bad spot for the Packers to play Tampa, but this is going to be a great game. I think it should be back and forth.
I'm going to go Green Bay here, just because I think the Aaron Rodgers revenge tour is real, and Tampa's defense hasn't looked entirely great either. So I think Aaron, we hope Devontae's back this week, right? They
Fingers crossed.
Start to tear it up, man. Let's see it. I think Rodgers keeps this going, so I'm going to go Green Bay here. Battle for worst in the NFC East: the Washington Football Team versus the G-Men. Who do you got, Pete?
Well, this is two teams going opposite directions. We didn't talk about this, but shout out to Alex Smith coming back.
Yes.
That was legit. That was amazing.
Comeback player of the year, right? Hands down. I think it has to be Alex Smith.
Oh, my God. Yes.
If it's not him, then something's wrong with the world.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was incredible last week, but the rest of the team is not very good. So I'm going to go with the Giants. Giants played tough. I mean, I know Dak got hurt, and, Andy Dalton had to step in, but, they should have almost won in Dallas. I mean, it's not like it means that Dallas is good either. But I think the Giants get their first win here. So, yeah, I'll go with the Giants. But, yeah, God, these two teams are terrible.
BK?
I think Joe Judge gets his first career win as a head coach here. The Giants played really well last week. And arguably were the better team, even before the Dak injury. So I will pick the team that has the consistency at quarterback right now. Because is it going to be Kyle Allen next week? Is it going to be Alex Smith? Is it going to be Dwayne Haskins? I don't know. Is Dwayne Haskins sick again?
He had the stomach issues, bro. I feel him. I have those every day. I'm gonna go with the Washington Football Team, and that Alex Smith is gonna get a dub. That's what I'm gonna go with here. Let's do it, bro. Let's get it. Although I will say, every time he dropped back, I was just scared. I was terrified. I was like, oh no. I get nervous for him, but that's all right. Yeah, let's get Washington dub here. But the Giants will probably end up winning this one. But I just want to be different. The Bears versus Bridgewater and the Carolina Panthers. BK.
I feel like I've been on the Bears bandwagon all year. But I think it's the Panthers here. The Panthers have played very well under Matt Rule. Matt Rule has that team believing and playing. And Teddy Bridgewater's he's got a great completion percentage, which is what we kind of knew when he was coming out of college at Louisville, that he's a very accurate passer. Probably doesn't go downfield enough, but they have DJ Moore, who's just so fast and can turn a 2-yard slant into a 60-yard touchdown. And then Robbie Anderson, because he left the black hole of the New York Jets with Adam Gase and is having a resurgence under Matt Rule. He's averaging 100 yards a game right now, Robbie Anderson. So watch out. If you play him in fantasy, just know that he's going to get 100 yards. So I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers.
Pete?
Going with the Bears. They got a mini bye week. I think that'll go well for them. The defensive front looked real good there against the Bucs. So if they can get after Teddy, I think the Bears should win this game. And also, I don't think Carolina's run defense is very good. So maybe Montgomery, I don't know, Ryan, this is going to be weird. Maybe he gets a 5-yard run. I don't know. Maybe it's in the cards there. Maybe it's in the cards. But I think they're able to run the ball a little bit here this week. And, yeah, I'll take the Bears.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm going to go Bears as well. The Bears have the top 2 corner duo in the league, which is pretty weird. And Kyle Fuller and Jalen Johnson. Khalil Mack looked really good last week against him.
Number 1 cornerback duo?
I think ranked right now for statistically, yeah.
Offense taken.
Sorry, I was just statistically. I don't mean it. Bears fans really hate Kyle Fuller, but that's all right. The hate has gone too far on Kyle Fuller. But yeah, man, let's see what the Bears defense front gets at it. Let's get at Bridgewater here like they did at Brady. Bridgewater obviously more mobile than Brady is, but I liked it. I liked what I saw last week from the Bears defense where they started to smell blood in the water and they really attacked, and that was good. Nick Foles didn't lose, so that's cool. We'll see what continues to happen with that. I'm not sold on it, but it is what it is. But let's go get a dub. Let's move on to 5-1. And then let's sign Le'Veon Bell. Thank you. Let's go Kansas City versus the Bills. That was supposed to be Thursday, but because of COVID and the Titans, we don't have a Thursday night game this week. Instead, we got 2 Monday night games again, and this is one of them. So, Pete, what you got? Chiefs or Bills?
God, 2 teams that are going to be desperate for victory, especially after the Bills got trounced by the Titans here tonight. So this will be a really good, nice little, appetizer Monday night game. But no, I'm going Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes. I just don't see them losing 2 games in a row. But if they did, it could be possibly to the Bills. So this will be another good one. But no, I'm going with the Chiefs here.
BK.
I'm going to take the Bills Mafia in a bounce-back game because they got absolutely trounced tonight. I think they're just going to be playing it slightly angrier, which Pat Mahomes is going to be angry too, so it feels weird saying, but I have faith in the Bills Mafia.
Patrick Mahomes' love of ketchup is what loses him this game. Let's go Bills. His obsession with ketchup. I'm just kidding. I do think I love Josh Allen. They had a really bad game tonight against the Titans, but to the credit, the Titans did have like 2 weeks to prepare for this, so we'll give them that a little bit here. It's kind of like cheating in a way. It's like you got COVID and you made out. It's kind of weird. It was okay for you to get COVID. I don't know. Looking at you, Roger Goodell. But I think the Buffalo Bills get this done on Monday to start us up with a doubleheader on Monday Night Football again. That's the only, I guess, the only positive part about the COVID is at least I get doubleheader Mondays like all year long. It feels like.
I would rather have that than a Thursday night game.
Yeah, because I think they book them better because it's on ESPN. Like it feels like it's getting booked a little bit better. Because God, Thursday night games are shit. But this would have been a good Thursday night game.
This would have been.
Yeah.
We got robbed. That sucks.
Wait.
Well, I mean, kind of, right? Because I'm just tired of shitty Thursday
games. I get it.
I mean, you're right, but it's like I don't get, now I get Monday Night Crew, and I don't get like a secondary Monday Night Crew, mind you. I don't get Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, so it's kind of stroking Mahomes. That's what I thought was going to happen. Upset pick. Pete, what do you got?
I got the boys over the Cardinals. I got the Red Rocket, baby. Yeah, I mean, they're at home. Cardinals are traveling to Dallas Monday night. Cowboys are going to show out. I'm going Cowboys here.
BK, I'm going to cut in front of you because you stole my pick. I'm going to take the Falcons over the Vikings, and it was for the exact same reason as the Texans last week. You fire your coach, maybe it pans out for you. So, and also, listen, Julio, you hope is back. There's so much talent on this fucking team, but not that there's not on the Vikings as well, right? But they're due. The Falcons are due. So, and full disclosure, if anyone's looking at the underdogs here, the unders, my God, there are some shitty options. So, instead of all of us like trying to take the Cowboys, I guess, I'll take the Falcons.
Yeah, so I'm following in line behind you. I didn't even know who you picked. I don't even really look at who you guys pick. But yeah, I'm taking the Falcons over the Vikings. Last week I took the Jaguars over the Texans because of firing Bill O'Brien midweek there. Romeo Crennel taking over as interim head coach. Apparently that was unintelligent on my part. So I've learned from my mistakes, and I am picking the Falcons for that reason. And they do have something to play for. But then again, I mean, so do the Vikings, though, too. I mean, they just lost a heartbreaker. But the picks sucked this week for underdog. So
they did.
Go Falcons.
I think
go Falcons.
Josh texted in that he was taking the Niners over the Rams because like I don't like any of these. These are all bad. I'm like, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be one of those like if you're doing parlays, you're gonna have a lot of favorites. So the return might not be so great. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'll still gamble, but it is what it is. Fuck it. All right, boys. I think that wraps up Turnover Tuesday here from Amalgam. Oh wow, I fucked that up. The A Nation. That's what I was looking for. Amalgamation Nation. It will take me a couple weeks, everybody. Sorry. I don't get to practice this, you know what I mean? But the A Nation, wrapping it up here. Thanks for listening, everybody. Of course, you can find not just these Turnover Tuesdays, but the Gaming Weeklies, the Weebisodes, and all of those by going and searching on your podcast platform of choice, such as Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the other ones. Just search Amalgamation Nation. Find us on Twitter at AMNationPod, and on Instagram it's the same at AMNationPod. Facebook.com/AMNationPod. Look for us on Thursday, Twitch.tv/UndeadRedBull this week around 9 p.m. Central Time. I'm hoping actually earlier now. We'll discuss that with everybody. We're going to record Gaming Weekly, and then it'll be up on podcast platforms and YouTube, which as well. Go on YouTube, look for Amalgamation Nation. If you don't want to search that in, that's cool, but you can go on Twitch or on Twitter at AMNationPod, and it's right there on our the pinned tweet. That's what I did it. So let's get that sub going. Let's get those numbers up. That'll be awesome. We are approaching episode 100. So what I thought of today when I got off work was what I think, because of the way it's going to break down, this is 97. Thursday will be 98. Sunday is Cowboy Bebop in review. That'll be 99. So next week, we will not do a Turnover Tuesday. We will not do a Gaming Weekly. We will do one giant episode for the whole crew. We'll pick a day that works for everybody, and we'll just talk shit, and we'll talk about whatever everybody wants to talk about. Whatever you guys want to talk to us about, leave them in the comments or tweet us at AMNationPod, and we'll just celebrate 100 episodes of the show. So that'll be super dope. I think that's the direction we'll go. As always, follow Josh Barlog on Twitter at Josh Barlog. Look for Natty Nights Monday, Wednesday, Fridays on his Twitter with 8 p.m. Central Time, going over national sports news as well as Chicago sports news. If you missed the live stream, that's okay. You can find it on podcast platforms. Just search Natty Nights. If you're looking to upgrade your gaming chair experience, go to triumphchairs.com and use the code Big J and BB Show, all one word, for 10% off your order. And get yourself some Undead Red Bull merch and vintage Big J and BB Show merch, as well as new merch hopefully soon at undeadredbull.tv, and click the merch tab. Until then, thank you for joining. As always, go vote and stay breezy.